Hi, everybody. It's Marjorie Waldo at Arts Garage with Jay Thomas. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello, Marjorie. Thank you so very much for having us. And we are delighted, is putting it lightly, to be playing actually live for the first time in however many months this has been. It feels like
Like
years.
eight, like 8 months. It's crazy.
I have I've been literally telling my friends, like, I just haven't played my songs to someone that's there in a very long time. And, it definitely, I guess, gets taken for granted when you're kind of just playing shows all the time. But it started to be like this spiritual thing of like, I gotta get out there and play a song,
Yeah, absolutely. Have
soon.
an audience in front of you. So you're going to be here at the end of November, November 28th. You're performing with Honeyvoid that night at 8 p.m. So we're really pumped about the show. So I hope you'll get a lot of people to come. I mean, we can only fit, depending on what's happening in a month, but right now we can only fit about 90 people in the space. But people can also buy a live stream ticket and enjoy the show from their homes if they're more comfortable doing that. So, okay, so let's talk about your music. First of all, I'm going to say that your genre is alternative electro pop. Now, correct me.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely we go in that lane a bit to start. Um, we kind of just follow each song. I definitely have some folky influences, and I guess some like anti-folk influences, which I guess is like folk music without being in the heart of America. We definitely have a lot of classical influence. Oscar plays cello, so we always have big string arrangements. It's a lot about the voice and the lyrics, and we kind of just let it grow. But we definitely started out playing very acoustically, and now, since coming back from Tallahassee to Miami a bunch of years ago now, we just started adding electronic elements because it's just kind of in the Miami spirit to drop the beat. So now we do kind of a mixture. We'll have like a bit of acoustic moments, and we'll have some exciting electronic moments. We're definitely looking forward to having a good time. Like earlier in the pandemic, we did a streaming show and did quite like a morose set list because we didn't know where we were, and people were losing people, and people are still losing people now. And it's so hard to know the vibe right now without seeing people, but I imagine that people do want to escape a bit at
I
this
think you're
moment.
spot on. I think that the audience that comes live is looking for an escape. They're looking for a moment where
Yeah.
it feels a little bit like the normal that was 8 months ago. I think you're definitely right. But I believe that the experience of people being together is more important. They'll all be in masks, so it looks a little funny, but they will at least be in the room together, enjoying the energy of a moment together in time. And I think that's very cool. All right, so Jay, I want to ask you something. Your family, tell me about your family, because I don't think there's anyone in your family who is not a performer. Your mother, your biological
That is
sister,
basically,
your sister.
yes. Everyone was expected to perform, which is why I'm always so confused that my dad gets angry that we all became artists. I think he would have much rather had a lawyer or a doctor somehow for some strange reason. But yeah, my mom was a performer. My dad is a performer. My mom was a Benny Hill girl. So my grandfather was Karji the cat in England. And so when he had daughters, having them on the show was kind of akin to having um, like someone's kids on SNL, like they were kind of shoehorned in by my grandfather, the comedian. So my mom did comedy and such, and we grew up with her playing piano in the house. So, our friends would all come over, and she would at some point take to the piano, and we would just do Phantom of the Opera start to finish, or Evita start to finish. So music was like always in the house. I was always humming, tunes and stuff. My dad became a performer later in my life. Well, he was always a performer, but then as I was growing up, he was a photographer and certain things. But then someone said he looked like Rod Stewart, which he had gotten in the past. But then he got up for karaoke to do Rod Stewart, like while I was in high school. And there was like an agent there, and they were like, oh, you could make this a show. And later my dad had told me that like the bands he was in when he was young, they said like, oh, well, you look like Rod Stewart. We already have a Rod Stewart, you know? So then he started doing these tribute acts. And then my cousin Recognize is a hip hop artist, and he's a wildly prolific artist. He's constantly writing, putting out music. It's hard to catch up with. He drops so much music and freestyles on the internet. And then my sister Jolie, she's a songwriter, and her main passion is travel. You know, much to my chagrin, because I'd like her to just like get holed up in a studio for all the hours. But she loves to travel, but she's also a brilliant songwriter, and we're always like trying to find those moments where we can get in and produce her stuff. And like she's got friends who help her work on it, and you know, who else? And then
well, it's really cool just to have that kind of creativity around you all the time. You know, I think that's really a neat thing. So
yeah, it was expected.
can you identify a performer outside of your family in your early years that was inspirational to you and that made you want to become a singer-songwriter?
Yeah, I mean, all the way from, we started out with reggae music. Like that was our childhood, was reggae music, Bob Marley, constantly, UB40, tons of reggae, show tunes. And then got into some pop, you know, love my like British electro pop stuff, Too Unlimited, you know, those songs. And then later on, I guess high school was like Ani DeFranco, Bjork. My North Star is Tori Amos, the piano goddess of the world.
She's amazing.
And also Billy Corgan and all his projects, Smashing Pumpkins, all sorts of alternative garbage. And then more recently, my sirens are like Lana Del Rey and Grimes.
You have a broad range of performers that have influenced.
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't make it easy as someone who wants to create all those genres. Like I don't want to just create like one of them. I kind of, you know, I think that's why I'm such an album-based person, is because I have so many songs of different genres that like only I can put them together in the album to like show you like, no, they kind of go together, you know?
Yeah.
I do have like aspirations to make albums that sound kind of more similar, like the songs sound more similar, but we do kind of do like a bit of this and then a bit of that. And, you know, it kind of makes me a very like categorical songwriter. Like the moment a song comes to fruition, I'm like, well, this is for this, you know,
Right.
like as we were writing for Quarantine, and well, when we first started writing Concierto Quarantina for Quarantine, that was very much like a public message. You know, we knew that we were writing these songs to produce for people to consume like in this moment of quarantine. And then since we've released that, I've been trying a little of this, a little of that. And I've been trying to start recording some of my smaller songs that I play around the campfire that I've been playing for years, but that they don't make the record because, you know, there's not like the club bop, you know?
Right.
So then
Now
now with this show,
yeah.
well, yeah, exactly, totally. Like, yeah, exactly. There's time for more than one record. So we're basically like creating multiple records. But then with this show coming up, you know, it's jolted us back again to like, oh, there's going to be an audience. Like, let's you know, all the inspiration changes, you know, because like
for sure.
3 weeks prior, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna record these quiet bedroom songs that won't go anywhere unless I want them to. And now I'm like, okay, we're going back out. Let's this weekend, of course, we're gonna be practicing, and I just want to come out big, as big as possible for, you know, a 2-piece with electronics and strings and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
so I want to talk about a couple of things that you said in your bio that I read. I'm going to read a couple of lines, and I want you to just talk about whatever you're comfortable doing. One of the things that I find very compelling about you as a performer is how you talk about the emotion of your song's inspiration, each individual song's inspiration. So you say that music for you is an extension of how you emotionally connect to and interpret the world. And you mention in your bio several instances over time, over the length of your time as a performer. So talking about your mom, talking about coming out in high school, talking about the pandemic. There's lots of moments in your life where you've used those as a way to, you've used songwriting and performing as a way to process emotion. Can you share a little bit with me about that?
Well, definitely. I mean, with so many of the songs, it's like a situation for me sounds like something, you know, like a, I guess a sort of synesthesia. You know, as far back as the song Bruisey Brookie on Goblins was just a theme song for my buddy, my girlfriend, who like, she just was a badass. So I just heard this little, like whenever I saw her. So that came out. And I think that applies to everything, is like there are sounds associated with feelings that like I need to put out there. And I think like certain songs have more or less urgency to them. I'm really excited about our recent EP this year, Concierto Quarantina, because my sister and I both were driving one day and knowing that quarantine was coming. Like I follow YouTube news and stuff. So like I was kind of like a doomsday sayer for my family. I was like, oh no, guys, it's coming. Like get ready. We had piled up on rice and beans, you know? So like I said to my sister, I was like, if this is coming, we're going to be stuck together. My sister lives a block away. And I was like, we should probably do something, you know, because we were just like talking COVID news, like constantly, you know, like, whoa, this. And I was like, we're going to need something else to talk about, you know, like we're going to need to just delve into something hardcore. And we just spoke a lot about what we were feeling now. And just these 3 songs came out. And there was actually another song that wasn't on the record that was kind of like more flippant, but also like me and her just kind of sitting down at the table for the first time and saying like, how do we feel right now? And let's create it, you know, like in the past, we kind of had more time in our band Blue Jay. I would write a song and bring it to the band. And then she started to write her songs and bring them to the band. But this is the first time that her and I just sat down and from scratch, like created these emotions, you know, out loud.
Together, collaborating on
it.
That's cool. So that's a silver lining in the COVID cloud, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she and I, like, we were about to kill each other at the end of Blue Jay. Like when we were in a band together, our creative forces were so entangled at that point that like we just ripped them apart as only siblings can, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was really great to say Jay Thomas is here and Jolie is here, and now this is what it sounds like together after all this time of definitely collaborating with each other, you know. We've always been on each other's team and stuff. But yeah, I mean, being in a band with a sibling, like it's being in a band with anyone. And I've asked a lot of band people this, like, I'm like, would you consider yourself nice to your bandmates? And they're like, oh no, you know, they're like, no, if that part sucks, that part sucks.
Really complicated.
Yeah, I mean, like sharp, you know, like being at a band practice, you're giving it your all and you're like, yeah. And then someone's got to be like, nah, you know, like sucks.
Yeah.
Let's have lunch, you know?
Yeah, you have to build a lot of trust. I mean, I think once you build a lot of trust, then you forgive each other a little easier, right? And siblings should have that most, we hope anyway. I hope my kids have that kind of confidence that they can go at it and then realize that it was based in a constructive criticism maybe, or helpful way. I don't know.
And like both my sister and I just like, what is it, like a shoot from the hip, you know? So like, so with each other, it's just like times 100, you know? It's like
right.
If one of us is off one day, the other one is gonna say something about it, surely, you know?
Somebody's gonna suffer.
Yeah, someone's gonna suffer, and I was excited by her lyric writing on Concierto because some of like the most scathing lyrics in there were her, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm the dark one in the family, but she's got like a wit about her that does translate to lyric, you know. I think that like sometimes I feel sassy in my lyrics, but she's like really sassy in her lyrics.
That's awesome.
she's got the spines, you know,
That's
the
awesome.
spines of a pretty lady.
Yeah. All right. So
But,
one more question. So the show is November 28th at 8 p.m. And what I'd like you to tell me before I let you go is, what would you like the audience, any audience, but specifically the Arts Garage audience, to get from the show? What vibe do you want them to have? What do you hope you're able to create that night?
Yeah, I think I've never felt more excited to have this exchange of live music that I've been partaking in as a ritual for a while now. I mean, I'm so excited just to see someone there, you know, and I hope that we can create a moment, and I'm going to be very open to heckling or whatever, you know, if they want to speak. Like I'm really excited to be in a room with the ritual coming back of live music. I'm really excited to, you know, kind of throw down and just have some fun, and probably play a few songs that, like, you know, kind of make us feel a few things. And yeah, I mean, I'll be excited to see the other band. You know, I've seen one live music show in quarantine, like out of quarantine recently, in a yard, which was socially distanced. And I couldn't have been happier that they were playing. So, you know, I'm excited to give that, you know,
That's
I'm gonna
awesome.
play
That's
every
awesome.
note like it matters. Every lyric is gonna matter. Like, you know, I'm definitely gonna deliver. I'm hoping to deliver, like, you know, some sort of purity of voice and
Yeah,
music,
that's
you know. And
wonderful.
I'm hoping people are
Wonderful.
gonna dig it.
I know they will. I know they will. Your music's incredible, and we're grateful that you're coming. So we cannot wait to see you on the 28th. Thank you for taking time today to talk to me.
Thank you so much for the interview. Like, it's so great to have this opportunity to have a voice, not just the music, but to, you know, have a little chatty chat for people to understand. So I'm
Yes,
super
nice. Thank you.
excited. This is our literal first gig back, and we are ready.
Yeah, we're enjoying it. So we cannot wait to see you, and start practicing now. Get back in the groove.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Thanks, Jay.